they're very, very difficult. If I had to guess, I would say the most difficult that I've seen has been Australia and New Zealand. What do you think are the right now? Is that still true, or what's the most difficult country to get into with a pet right now?
Yeah, Australia and New Zealand are definitely at the top because they have like a pre-departure quarantine period where you have the titer test and then a waiting period and then um, subsequent, test and treatments. Um, Singapore also, a 4-month quarantine before you can leave, test treatments. Yeah, so I would say Australia, New Zealand, Singapore, Japan. Those are probably the top four that require more planning, um, more vet appointments and just import permits and things like that. So, the EU is not super complicated, although they've changed regulations on depending on the rabies manufacturer now, the waiting period is either 21, 28, or 30. So that's been a whole thing of trying to look at um, the manufacturer, listings of what their validity is stated as. So that's
So
been a
that
whole new
varies
thing.
based on not only did you have a rabies vaccination, but the maker
Hmm.
of it that has to be recorded by the veterinary office that did the vaccine.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
that's another layer of difficulty for those situations. What
Right.
would you say if an owner is considering trying to travel out of the country with their pet? What do you see that they get the most, that gets them the most confused, or is the biggest trip up that you would say, watch out for these two or three things, or this is what I would recommend to avoid the most common mistakes so people don't end up in a situation where they want to go somewhere and they get hit with a unwanted surprise, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, number one is plan ahead because if your pet's not eligible, then you're going to be delayed. So that's step one. Step two is work with a vet that either has a clear understanding of the requirements or hire a pet shipper to collaborate with the vet team. If they're traveling by air, which, international, unless you're going into Mexico, but the airline regulations are different depending on which airline you're traveling with. Some will allow baggage, some will require cargo. Some countries require cargo entry only. In-cabin pets have different regulations. ESA pets are no longer accepted. Only service animals, and service animals are only dogs. I think maybe like miniature horses. I'm not sure about that, but ESA pets are no longer, people are like, oh, we'll just get our pet, titled as a emotional support and we will have no problem. And that's no longer the case. So, there's a lot of thing. We get calls from people that are rejected because of improper paperwork. They might have the health documents for the country, but they don't have the American Airlines acclimation or breed um, forms, things like that they just, they don't do this on a daily basis. So they may miss something along the way that ends up, causing a rejection at departure. And that's a big deal if your family's departing the same day and then your pet's rejected. Crate compliancy, a lot of that has changed in the last year.